Well, it's a bright and beautiful, sort of cloudy kind of morning here in Winnipeg, and we're joined by Jesse Pelletier of the Lorette Comets. We're going to talk some Hanover Taché Junior Hockey League. Good morning, Jesse. Thanks for taking some time in your busy morning. Happy New Year.
Same to you, Theo. Thanks for having me on again, and all the best to you. Thanks again for having me on.
I don't see the meatball jersey behind you today. I see a beautiful vehicle. We'll get to the jersey in a second. The jersey was fantastic the day we spoke because I believe you tweeted back to me that your top line had a combined 16 points during that victory.
We had a great debut with the new jerseys out in St. Jean. Had a good production from our top line who went off that night. Since then, a bit of a struggle, going through a bit of a rough patch, as all teams do typically in the course of a regular season. Lost 3 of our last 4, but overall, very excited to get the new unis on, and the boys loved them, so they were very, very happy to see them hanging on their stalls to start the game.
Fabulous. Speaking of this bit of a lull for the Lorette Comets, I mean, you guys were at the top of the standings the last time we chatted, and now there's a new king on top.
Yeah, the extreme formidable opponents. They have a very deep squad there, and 2 of those losses came to the extreme. Once in Oakbank, and the other in Ile-des-Chênes just this past weekend. We were on a back-to-back both of those games. You don't want to make excuses for your club, but we were on back-to-backs both those times, seeing the extreme. So hopefully next time we see them, we'll be fresher and ready to go, because again, they're very deep, top to bottom. They've really got a phenomenal squad there, and they only have the 2 losses on the year, so they'll be tough to catch down the stretch, but still lots of opportunity to do that.
Their goaltending has been, they've got the best goaltender in the league with a 1.71 goals against, but I mean, not too far behind are the goaltenders from Lorette. I mean, how many teams make it to the playoff run at the end of this year, and how does that seeding work? Let's start with that question.
So the first and second team after the regular season is complete will have a bye, and the third place team will play 6th. 4th will play 5th in the first round, which is a best of 5. Winners of those series will advance, and then the lowest seed that advances will play first, and the 2 middle teams remaining will play in the semifinal, and that's a best of 7. And then, of course, the winner of those series will move on to the championship final, which is another best of 7. So that's the unique part of our league, actually, is, you play a 20 to 25 game schedule, depending on how many teams are in the league any given year. And if you end up having a couple of long playoff series, you can actually end up playing almost as many playoff games as you do regular season games. And obviously that's in a very compressed amount of time, schedule-wise. So it truly is, everyone says the playoffs is a new season. It couldn't be more true in our league, where, again, you can play the amount of games you played in 6 months in a matter of 2 months. So you can imagine the injuries and the toll it takes on these kids playing that many games, and especially, not to mention, playoff caliber hockey.
Yeah, I mean, you said it's a second season, and furthermore, it's a compressed season. You said battle tested. I mean, it's great to get into that, that playoff run 1st through 6th, but that's when you have to be playing your best hockey. So you, with the Lorette Comets, taking a bit of that lull during the Christmas break, you know what it feels like this year. You don't want to feel that feeling again, and you know that you have to crescendo to the end of this season. Now, each team has played between 15 and 18 games, so we're almost wrapping up here. So when do playoffs start? Like in the middle of February then, or what time do
the second week of February is typically when it'll get going. So it's a very exciting time. So basically a month left of regular season play here, and that'll determine the final seeding, and then we get going. So it's a very exciting time of year. I mean, there's nothing better than playoff hockey. The stakes are so high. Every mistake is magnified. Every goal is that much more important. So yeah, mid-February we gets going, and if you go right to the end, you're finishing by the end of March again. So it's really only a month and a half to 2 months max of time allotted to finish these playoffs. So it makes it that much more exciting, and a lot of hockey pressed into a short amount of time.
We've talked in previous episodes, Jesse, with regards to deadlines for AP players and whatnot. Is that past and gone, or is it still upcoming?
That'll be next week. So January 10th is basically your final roster cut down date to finalize your roster. There is a little unknown date on February 10th, which is the final deadline to sign players that maybe slipped through the cracks and either didn't play anywhere or were released by January 10th and couldn't necessarily find a place to call home. But generally speaking, all junior teams across any league will have their final rosters solidified again, January 10th next week. And then January 15th, 5 days after that, is your final date for affiliates to be signed. So if you're looking to fill a couple holes, again, gearing up for long playoff runs and having some good skilled players from AAA midget or high school, wherever that may be, that's your final date to get those guys signed.
For lack of a better term, is that basically the quote-unquote ringer deadline that you have to bring in and finalize those rosters, or do you hope that some players have had a bit of tilt prior to that?
It honestly, especially in our league where, it's good quality hockey, we've talked about that, but there are some really good players in, again, AAA, Eastman Selects, for example, playing out of Beausejour. A lot of good, skilled 16, 17-year-olds on that roster historically have gone to teams like Grunthal, Steinbach, and really added a totally new dynamic to a team where, you're grinding through these tough playoff series. And if you can add a talented player late in the season like that, it's huge for a team. And when we won back in 2016, we had 3 or 4 key APs for us that were instrumental down the stretch. A couple of them played AAA. A couple of them were playing Lorette high school hockey or Ile-des-Chênes Gabrielle Roy high school hockey. So those extra few pieces can truly make a difference in a championship run because you're not going to be 100% healthy come that time of year, and an extra body here and there can make a world of difference.
We talked so the deadlines are coming January 10th, February 10th. How much will that? I mean, as a coach and as a player and as a person that's involved in an organization, do you feel like adding those players can either, like you said, benefit or disrupt the chemistry that the team has built already for that season? I mean, you talk about Springfield that's just only lost twice. You yourselves fitting in second. Maybe a team like Red River or maybe Loeppky picks up a couple of players just to maybe get that final win because it wasn't under the tree over the Christmas holidays. I mean, would a team like Red River benefit more from picking up a player versus a team that's been hot the entire season?
I would say so, definitely. I mean, you're, as a general manager especially, you're looking to bolster your lineup any way you can. As coaches and general managers, you do have to make those tough decisions, possibly to pull in a player, or pull out a player rather, for a big game and put in some new blood or change up your lineup a little bit. And those are tough decisions. I mean, you want to play all your players every game if you could, but obviously the numbers just don't always add up that way. So, again, speaking from my experience as a coach, I had to make some tough decisions whether to play a AAA caliber player over, say, a lesser talented player that's on my actual roster. And that's something it's a very fine line. You don't want to necessarily have to do, but winning is everything. And if you're a team that is going for it and wants to make that difference, then sometimes you got to make those decisions.
So let's talk about this weekend. We've got 4 games on the slate starting tonight. It's basically 2 sets of back-to-backs. Your squad, the Comets, taking on the Loeppky, who's still looking for that first win. I wonder if there's a betting board out there in the Hanover Taché who's going to be the first team to give it up, the first W for Loeppky. But I'm hoping they get 1 this year. Hopefully not this week, unfortunately, for you, Jesse, and your team.
That's right.
And then Red River taking on Grunthal in a back-to-back as well. This leaves, like you said, 3 or 4 weeks left in the season. How does your team look now after you've kind of gone through that slide, and what are we looking forward to for 2020?
Yeah, we're looking to finish strong, kind of get back in the win column here on a consecutive basis. Playing the Loeppky, who, like you said, haven't found the win column yet this year, will definitely help, but you don't want to take them lightly, of course, and chalk it up as a win before it starts. That's the worst thing you can do going into a hockey game. We see Springfield another 2 times still, which leaves the season series between us up for grabs. We beat them in overtime. They've now beat us twice in regulation. So if we can find a way to steal those two back from them, that would give us the season series on the year, which could theoretically work into a tiebreaker scenario. It would be nice to have that home ice advantage going in, throughout the entire playoffs. So we're just looking ultimately, though, to round out our game, fix a few holes, get healthy, which we are almost there. We're a few guys away from being fully healthy. And like you said, crescendo at the right time, playing your best hockey going into the playoffs. That's really the key, because, again, everyone makes playoffs, and, regardless of where you finish at the end of the regular season, everyone's got that eye on the championship banner and trophy. So if you can pull that home at the end of the season, that's the true goal, or ultimate goal at the end of the day.
Going to leave you on this last question, Jesse, before you get more eyes rolling at you at work. You got a couple of brothers that are APs. I don't know how to say their last name. The Corrupt brothers, or
Corrupt, yeah.
Yeah. How are those boys fitting in? I mean, was the decision to bring the boys on, you got to take both of them, or was it going to be one or the other, or was it just the fact that you like the play of both of them and you brought both of them on the team this year?
They've been a seamless fit for our group. They're very well liked with our guys. Honestly, they've been players of ours for years. We had Justin Durup, the older of the two, last season play for us, coming out of the out of the St. Boniface Riels program. They had made the decision to get younger, and ultimately didn't have a spot for him last year. And I known him from my days as a fishing guide, just happenstance, and knew he was a good little hockey player. And I said, hey, would you want to have the opportunity to come out and play for us? Because that last year was the first year we allowed imports. And he honestly didn't miss a stride, came in and had a phenomenal year with us, has continued that this year, brought his younger brother Eric up. Rico and Skip are their nicknames on the squad, and it suits them nicely because I think the hair is halfway down their backs right now, so you don't miss either of them out on the ice, that's for sure.
So which one's Rico and which one's Skip?
Rico is Eric,
okay.
Hence that nickname, and then Justin is Skip, and again
That's
he
awesome.
Somehow picked that one up in his fishing guide days, and it stuck on the hockey rink too. It's a
Rico
great
doesn't,
nickname.
Rico doesn't come with the big gold chain and the baby blue T-shirt anywhere. Or it's just
I haven't seen that, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's in his closet.
That'd be hilarious. Awesome. Well, Jesse, we got a game. We got a tilt tonight. Tonight's the game against the Loeppky, correct?
Yeah, we're barring the conditions turning really unfavorably. I know we're supposed to get a bit of snow today, this afternoon, so we'll make that judgment this afternoon. But if that checks out, we'll be at the High Life Center tonight in Loeppky, and then we host them back in Lorette this Saturday.
Okay, so all the updates will be on the HTJHL website, of course. So check that out before heading out on the drive tonight. If you're watching the game or you're playing the game, safe travels this week, and we look forward to catching up with you later on next month, after or right before the ringer deadline, we'll call it. And
that sounds great. Maybe a little playoff preview.
There we go. I look forward to talking to you. Jesse Pelletier, who is, of course, affiliated with the Lorette Comets, but we're talking HTJHL action. Go and check out the barns. Go and check out the local action. Great hockey. Lots of emotion. Lots of fun stuff going on for the fans in the stands. So thanks, Jesse, for joining me, and have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, Theo. You as well.
Take care. This has been Theo with the Jesse Pelletier on the HTJHL recap.